Straight talk from Israel. You're listening to Israel News Talk Radio.
Welcome to Returning Home. I'm your host, Natalie. We are counting down now to the hours before Lag BaOmer, and there's a lot of excitement in the air. I explained this to all of you last week, how the children have been busy these past several weeks dragging wood to their fire pits, and this is what they've been doing every day after school for about 2 hours, and it's very exciting. And now they're all getting their food together and they're napping because they're going to be up through the night until the early morning, and then they're going to sleep off Friday, and I will be with them through the night, and I will be tired. We will all be exhausted on Friday, but it's worth it. It's worth it because it's a lot of fun. Yesterday, I had a very moving experience. There are 49 new medics that have been certified and approved in Har Havon, in my region. And the ceremony was yesterday. Now, when I say the ceremony, it wasn't like this big formal, it wasn't so formal. And nothing here in Israel is so formal. But it's formal for us, meaning the entire family went with their mother or their father or whoever the medic was. And in most cases, it was the mother or father. And I saw people from all over Har Havon. I saw people I knew. I saw mothers and fathers my age and older who have become medics, which I thought was just unbelievable. I mean, most people, when they reach middle age, they slow down. But no, not here. They took on another responsibility. They trained for 6 months, 220 hours. And they're now going to be on call. Now, we gave out vests and they got like their special shirts, but we did not hand out equipment, which was so strange. So I checked with my director who was there, and he said, no, we don't have them. We need to get them. So I thought that was pretty horrible. I said, what are these people going to do if they get called to help? They're going to show up with empty hands? He said they can't go out until they have equipment. So while we got all these new medics, they don't have equipment. So I am reaching out to whoever wants to help. We had 3 medics in Susia for the past few years, 3. And we have a yeshuv that's the biggest one here. I think I've told you we're about 185 families, maybe closer to 200 families now. Now we have 8 more medics. So I feel much, much better. But they need equipment. So they're no good sitting at home. They're no good showing up to an emergency with nothing. So if you're interested, please reach out. We'll be right back. Stick around.
Israel is located in one of the most volatile areas in the world. Israel is an island of stability in a sea of war and unrest. In the midst of this turmoil, Israel stands out as a beacon of order and human progress. Each week we update you on what's happening in this, the Jewish state, a true light unto the nations. This is Jay Shapiro. Join me every Thursday on Israel News Talk Radio.
Welcome to Returning Home. I'm your host, Natalie Sapinski. Joining us today is a former lone soldier who actually moved here as a child with his family, and they went back to America, but he decided to stay and enlist. His name is Ikee Bodner. He's with us on the line now, and I think he's actually preparing some other lone soldiers today for a Lag BaOmer fire. Are you there, Ikee?
Yep. Hey, Natalie. How are you?
Very good. Did I hit all the highlights?
You did. You did.
Okay, so you have a very unusual... Sorry.
Right.
Go ahead.
Today, the Lone Soldier Center is running a barbecue for Lag BaOmer for all the lone soldiers, so we're just setting up now.
Now, what does that involve?
Well, s'mores, steaks, a lot of kumot from our communities around have donated their time, their effort, a lot of meat, and a lot of drinks in order for lone soldiers to have a real Israeli Lag BaOmer.
Yeah, but who's doing the fire?
We got Natalie on the fire. Natalie. He's the head of housing here.
Okay. So it's not the soldiers on the fire.
Well, they'll partake, I'm sure.
Yeah, because here where I live, it's all about the fire. These kids have been hauling around wood for weeks. It's all about the fire.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we have a nice little fire pit we built ourselves out here on an extra weekend with some of the guys home. And, it's pretty nice. It needs some upkeep, but it'll have a roaring fire, I'm sure.
That's great. All right. So why don't you tell us your own Aliyah story and share it with our listeners? Because as far as I know, lone soldiers come, do their service, and leave. You are a little different.
Just a little more unique. My family came in 2009 when I was 11 years old. They came for a year, trial year, A1 visa, so no one really made Aliyah, and there were no commitments. But 7 years down the road, we had another year after another year of trial, and finally my parents decided to move back without having made Aliyah. And I was 18 at the time. So, I decided, I looked at my options. On my left was the A1 visa, no commitments, no army, nothing. And on my right was the army, and I felt after a while of going back and forth and debating to enlist, because that was in my own head, in my own heart, my gateway, my rite of passage to being an Israeli, to being with my people, with my country, with my nation, and within this mentality, this family out here. And so I drafted, went to the Air Force. It was a long process. Ended up as a technician for the F-35s, which I love, and I can't wait to go back to Miluim. And, it had its own set of challenges, but being here for so long beforehand allowed me to really have a community, friends, family that I could go to for advice, for support at any time.
Right. You really grew up here in a sense. I mean, 9 years, 8 years, your whole childhood, and actually your teenage years were here. So you felt probably just like all your friends, and you didn't want to be away. I mean, it makes sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, it was for formidable years. I actually went to an American high school here called YTA, and there you have such a wide range, a wide variety of guys and girls who do their own thing after 12th grade. They end up in the Army, in various positions. They end up in colleges. They end up around the world. And so seeing all my friends take different opportunities, guys and girls in my position with A1 visas who didn't choose to go to the Army, it kind of felt like I was on my own, like I had made my own path, which kind of empowered me to be free, to be who I wanted to be, no matter the circumstance.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Very good. That's a very good way of looking at it also. It made you probably strong.
Yeah, I think that you get to make the decisions you want to make at that point in life, if you're in that position, and you need a lot of guidance. And without a community, it wouldn't have been possible. Without the people around me, I would not have been able to love my job, to have that experience, to be here supporting other lone soldiers. It's only because of my people support that I could support others.
That's right. And that's what that center is for. And I think your community, when you say your community, what do you mean? Do you mean your friends, the friends you made after the Army, or are you talking about other lone soldiers that you met because of your circumstances?
Both. Each one supports the other. I think that both groups, my friends that I've grown up with and the lone soldiers that I've, been supported by and have supported in turn, have really gelled together. Because in one sense or another, it's not just about the service with a gun or with your time to the Army. It's about your service to the country and to your people. We all love one another based on a set of beliefs or a set of opportunity or a set of understanding that we're all just, trying to do our best for some common goal of humanity. And I think that, it doesn't matter what title you get or you give yourself. We've ended up wanting to support one another even if we don't know each other.
Oh, that's very nice and very positive. And I want to ask you, what has happened since the Army? And how old are you today?
23 years old. After the Army, I started my own coffee company. It's called Avdu.coffee on Instagram. We run through there and through WhatsApp, and we sell different flavors. I didn't like coffee in general. I really despised it, but I knew that I liked caffeine. And I needed to jumpstart my morning in the Army, and really get after it. But I really just like the flavors. So I ended up making mint, gingerbread, rum raisin, brownie batter, and an assortment of flavors. And, so Avdu coffee has really started to take off. I made my first couple sales just in the last week since opening up. And then
what is the name of this?
Avdu, A-V-D-U. Come on, Avdu.
Uh-huh. Okay, yeah. That's pretty groundbreaking, I think. I mean, making your own kind of coffee.
I kind of I stole the idea a bit, I'd say, and then remodeled it. But around the world, there's so many flavors, and we see them on Instagram, but we don't even try to bring them to our own country, Might as well try.
All right. Well, good for you. Now, how long have you been a free man?
6 months.
So you really just got out.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
And you came out running. Well, that's great. That's great to hear. My own son is in the Army, and he still drinks choco. He won't touch coffee. And I find it so funny, He's this guy, carrying a gun, and this big guy with muscles, and he doesn't drink coffee. He's like a little boy.
Everyone's got their preference. Everyone's got their preference.
Yeah. So what are your plans besides the coffee? Didn't you tell me that you are going to be married?
I am. Please God, September. Everything will fall into place soon enough, and we've been looking at some venues in the desert, my fiance and I.
So tell me about that, how you met. How did that come about?
Wow. Well, a couple months before the Army had finished, I recognized about 8 months out that I needed to start looking into colleges, needed to start looking into programs, what I want to do afterwards. So I didn't really have a clear enough goal. So I said one of the steps is the psychometry course, in the test in of itself. So I ended up at this course in Tel Aviv on Fridays on my off day from the Army, and sitting next to me was this very, very blonde girl. And she was wearing a Kansas City Chiefs shirt. So I'm a football nut. I play football and breathe football. And so we started talking. We had study dates with friends as a study group, and then eventually it dwindled down to the two of us. And throughout Corona, throughout lockdowns and not being able to see each other on base and being far apart solely because of a 30-day lockdown on bases here and there, we had spent so much time over FaceTime with so many genuine questions that it kind of got us straight to the point of the relationship. And that was fantastic. And 8 months in, we got engaged.
Oh, that is awesome. It's a Corona romance. That's what you got. Really? That's great. That's beautiful. You were just saying so many things, and something came to mind I wanted to ask you when you said football. So tell me about football, because I know there's a big game tonight, the Jerusalem Lions. Zezi Fold he's on the show a lot. He plays. Are you on the same team?
I was on the Rebels. This year I've taken off because I've torn something in my knee, and we're trying to figure out just what. And, football is such a great sport, especially with the IFL here. And I really think that anybody interested in just committing themselves to it will gain so many tools for life, not just physical tools, obviously, but really understand how life can be managed in a much more positive manner with a group of people who are all towards the same goal and want to strengthen one another. And so I played for the Rebels. And
okay, tell me what that means when you say the Rebels. What city? What is that? The Haifa Rebels?
And Judea. We started in Jerusalem. There have been two Jerusalem teams for a while, the Jerusalem Lions and the Jerusalem Rebels. A bit of a friendly rivalry, I'd say. I got friends on both sides. And we play a Hanukkah Bowl every year, actually, which is a fantastic thing to watch.
This is so fun. I mean, it's unbelievable that I've been here for 15 years, and this is like the first I've heard of it. My friend Zezi told me about it, and I thought he was like joke. I thought maybe it was a little Beit Shemesh thing. I didn't know it was a real national sport. But listen, I asked him who comes to watch, and he told me there's like nobody in the stands. So it isn't really an Israeli prime time type of thing yet. Right. So
that's the question. Specifically in the Jerusalem area, it's not. But Ramat Sharon, Emek Israel, up north, down south, Beersheba, there are so many Israelis. On base, I had Israelis who I knew because we played football together. So in those more southern regions, I'd say you really get a good chance going at each of these games.
Well, that's good.
trumpets, and everything.
That's great to know. That's great to know. You're the second person I've met, and so it's like every other person now I meet is a football player, which means you're, out there and you're an athlete, and you'll probably do this for years if you can, right?
Well, I hope. I mean, if I can rehab my knee, I'll be back next season. I'm sure my coaches who hear it will love to hear that. But,
that is great to hear. It was great to have you on. We've got to go. Thank you so much for joining us, Ikee.
Thank you for having me. Have a great day.
Chag Sameach.
You too.
The Tamar Yona Show.
Tamar? She's sassy.
She's smart.
She's funny.
But she's also a real Jewish mother.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tamar Yona. And yes, I can be all of those things. But at Israel News Talk Radio, I'm here to bring you the news stories and guests that you may not hear anywhere else. Join me live on air Sundays, Mondays, and Tuesdays for the most unique and bold talk radio in Israel.
The Tamar Yona Show.
Shalom, I'm Leah Aharoni. Join me on my show, News from the Torah. Each Sunday, we'll use the weekly Torah portion as a prism for understanding the news today. Listen to News from the Torah to gain clarity about the times we're living in and to understand your own spiritual path in the process. News from the Torah every Sunday on Israel News Talk Radio.
Welcome back to Returning Home. I'm your host, Natalie Sapinski. That was very, very interesting. There are so many lone soldiers here. I'm just going to get as many as I can on the air. That's what I'm going to do. What we have now is a guest from Philadelphia who is going to be making Aliyah this summer. His name is Lou Lassoff. He is an interesting guy, 60 years old, divorced, one daughter in the U.S., an ex-basketball player, was then in real estate and now drives for Uber. I spoke with him. He is a riot. Lou, are you with us?
I am. Good morning.
How was that?
Or good
afternoon. Was that a good description of your life?
Yeah, I'll fill in the blanks.
Yeah, please do. Thank you for joining us. I know it's early in the morning. Tell me your Aliyah story. Why you're coming, and what has inspired you to make the move.
Okay, so as I mentioned before, when I was 17 years old, in 11th grade, this was March of 1978, I was on this basketball team from the Philadelphia area. Hundreds of kids tried out over like 3 weekends, and I and another guy from my high school, and we made this team, and we traveled to Israel. We posed as a tennis player as a tennis team. At the time, the Israeli Tennis Center in Ramat HaSharon was just built, so we got donations of tennis rackets and tennis balls and bags, and we all jumped on a plane with all this tennis gear, posing as a tennis team, and we went to Israel. We played I think 3 or 4 games, and we had the time of our lives, as you can imagine. And a couple days into the trip, I'm talking with some of the guys, and somebody said, "Boy, this place feels like home, doesn't it?" And I said, "It does." I said, "I could live here." And everybody said, "Yeah, me too. It just feels like home." So, and now, 43 years later.
Okay. Now, let me just back it up because the story is hilarious. Because from the get-go, you came posing as a tennis team, but you're a basketball team. Okay. And then when you say you play a couple games, what do you mean a couple games? Do you mean a couple tennis matches?
Oh, no. I mean, we got to play at the Israeli Tennis Center when we dropped off the rackets. But no, we played. I think it was Maccabi Tel Aviv.
Okay, you played. Wait. You played basketball in a basketball court, or did you play basketball on a tennis court?
No, we played basketball on a basketball court. We played like 3 or 4. We played like 3 or 4 exhibition games.
Oh, okay. So you weren't really posing as a tennis team. You just came and you brought their equipment.
Just to get all the equipment over to Israel.
Well, that seems a little silly. You could have been you could have been FedEx. I mean, why did you have to pose as a team?
Well, I'm just saying, like we had our uniforms on our and we had all this tennis equipment. We're carrying all this tennis equipment. So when we got on the plane, everybody thought we looked like a tennis team.
And did you say you were a tennis team?
Sure.
Yes. Okay.
Why not? We're in warm-ups and we look like a tennis team.
That's great. That's great. That's hilarious. Okay, that's very funny. Once I was on the plane, I was with a band and they had bought an extra guitar, so I had to carry the guy's guitar, and we were so afraid that the security was going to ask me to play, So I hear you. I've been there. Yofi. So continue. So you're in Israel. You're 17 years old. You're talking to a teammate. Boy, we'd love to live here. And you did not. You did not come back. You did not live here. You went back to your life in Philadelphia. And what? What happened?
Well, my older brother was a basketball player, and he played in Israel for 15 years professionally. He played on Maccabi Tel Aviv and the national team and a number of other teams in his career. And so I went to visit him in 85. I spent about a month back in Israel. And in 92, when I first got married, we were there for about another 12 days. But I haven't been in Israel in 29 years. And, and now, fortunately, I'm able to do this. Is something, I've always wanted to do ever since the first time I visited.
Good. All right, whatever gets you here. So your brother, is he still here? What happened to him?
No, he unfortunately he passed away 8 years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was his name?
Howard Lassoff.
Wow, he's a basketball star. That's exciting. Yeah. Well, I'm sure he'd be happy that you were coming back.
Oh, I'm sure.
To stay.
Yeah. He had a lot of friends there, and he was very well known, and so one of the things that I hope to do in his honor and merit is I would love to be able to teach young kids how to play basketball. I've coached youth sports before, but I've never coached basketball, so it's something that's still in the back of my mind that I'd love to be able to do in his honor and merit.
Oh, what a beautiful project. That would be great. That the kids learn here. We have a basketball chug even here. That it's basketball and soccer. Those are the 2 sports here. You'll succeed. You'll be able to do that.
Sure.
Did you say where?
No. I said of course. Yes.
Yeah. You will. So where do you plan on living?
I have friends who just made Aliyah about 2 months ago, and they're in Pardes Chana. And we have
that
some
would
other
be
Aleeza.
Well. Okay, you're going to Pardes Chana. Look at that.
Gershon, yes.
Pardes Chana is turning into a little Philadelphia. Look at that. Very nice.
Yeah, I think she's determined to make it a little Philadelphia too.
Okay. More power to her. Great.
Yeah.
Great. Just open up a pretzel stand and you're in business.
Yeah.
So what? Tell me your timeline. What are we looking at here? We're now at the end of April. Do you have an Aliyah date?
I don't have a date yet. I'm waiting. I'm still waiting on approval. And they told me the FBI background check just came back, and and everything's fine, of course. And so they told me it's going to be about 4 to 6 weeks for approval, maybe longer. There's another guy who a friend of mine who's making Aliyah also. It's been 7 weeks for him that he's been waiting. So hopefully, he'll get his approval soon. I'll get my approval soon. I'm looking at July or August, probably August. I just want to be there before Rosh Hashanah.
Okay, good. Rosh Hashanah is early this year. I think it's September 6th. So, yeah, hopefully you'll make it right in the nick of time. And what are your plans? Do you have plans? Let me put it that way. You told me that you are now driving an Uber, and I think Uber might even exist here. It might. I don't know, but a lot of people come here and change their lives. What do you want to do?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Things are up in the air. I mean, I don't know yet. Fortunately, I have a little bit of wherewithal that I don't need to start working right away. I want to, go to Opon and learn the language and see what's available to me. I don't know if I'm going to continue driving. Probably not. But we'll see.
I'll tell you, your basketball coach idea is what you should put out there and get involved, because they'll snag you, they'll grab you. They'll grab you.
Yes, and my brother still has a lot of friends. I want to hook up with Ulcie Perry and my brother's former teammate in college, Brad Greenberg, just won. He's the coach of Ziona Ness. They just won the European Cup championship.
Wow!
So I want to hook up with a lot of my brother's old friends.
Well, that's really nice, and I'm glad you have people to see when you come here. It'll keep you busy.
Yes. Yes, for sure.
Yeah, and you won't be alone because you'll be near friends. Even though you'll be in a new town and a new home, it won't feel like such a new home. She's breaking it in for you, this Aleeza. You know that, right?
I think yes. Yeah, it's still going to be major culture shock. I mean, because I haven't been there in, like I said, 29 years. And
it's a different Israel. It's a different Israel, and you're a different person too, though. Remember that you've changed too.
Sure.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine, and it's easy coming by yourself. Very easy. You don't have to worry about half the problems that these families have to worry about. The schools and the this and the that. You're just you.
That's true.
You just need,
That's true.
You just need running water.
What's that? I'm sorry?
I said you just need running water.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm kidding you. I mean, that's very simple, but yeah, you're a single guy, Are you going to be looking to get married?
Of course.
No, of course, is that what you said? Okay. So I'll be on the lookout for you. You probably don't need my help.
Sure.
But okay. You'll. I hope you find love. I hope I'm invited to the wedding. I don't think they have registries here, so I'm just going to give you a check.
Okay, that works.
You keep me in mind, okay?
That works fine. Yeah.
So we're going to call you again. We're down to about 30 seconds here. We're going to be calling you, if you don't mind, throughout your pre-Aliyah. And, I'd like to hear, don't be afraid to be honest with us. And when you're anxious and nervous, I want to hear it, because there are other people out there looking to you as a shining example. Okay. There are other bachelors, other singles, other divorcees looking to you, hearing your voice and saying, well, if Lou can go on his own, I can do it too. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Good. Please. I look forward to that. That would be wonderful. And certainly if I can do it after all these years, anybody can do it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Lou. Take care of yourself. Happy Lag BaOmer, and we'll speak to you again.
Thank you. You as well. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
In a time where feelings have become fact, where rational thought and common sense has disappeared, one man stands above it all.
I'm Howie Sobiker, your political hitman.
Political Hitman airs every Tuesday at 11:59 p.m. North American time, 7 a.m. Israeli time, only on Israel News Talk Radio.
Are you interested in transforming your life, drawing closer to the Creator, and uncovering the deeper meanings and hidden treasures in the Hebrew Bible?
Then join me, Rav Yitzhak Michelson,
and me, William Hall,
on the Science of Kabbalah, where we are seeking to narrow the gap between what we understand of our physical and spiritual worlds. So make sure to tune in every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Israel time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, here on Israel News Talk Radio.
Welcome back to Returning Home. I'm your host, Natalie Sapinski. With us now is Aleeza Bracha, originally from the Philadelphia area, who also moved to Pardes Chana, and she actually introduced me to Lou. So Aleeza is one of these people who just does things. She's a doer, okay? This woman is amazing. Every day on her Facebook page, she has this like organized description of her latest adventure. Aleeza, you want to tell us about your latest adventure?
Sure, Natalie. Thanks for having me.
Great.
So our latest adventure, well, we were finishing the Aliyah process for my two big kids. My two big kids came over in October. They came to boarding school. We didn't arrive until March 1st. And so they did not actually officially make Aliyah with us, and we had to go through this whole process. And today we just finally wrapped it up, although my son still has to finish when he graduates from high school, because he's in this in-between age. There's all these rules here and all of these things that I don't 100% understand, but we're just following things step by step and kind of following through the maze of paperwork and offices.
That's right. That's what it is. That's what it is. When you say process, it's paperwork. Yeah. Yeah.
Paperwork, lots of paperwork. And we also I started my license transfer, which I heard they made a lot easier in the last year or so. So I wanted to say thank you to whomever did that, because...
Well, tell me, what kind of license? Your professional license?
No, just driver's license. Just to get
your
around
driver's
my car.
license.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we had to take the test again.
No, so you, right now, as far as I know, you have to fill out a form online. You have to go to an optician. It was a little bizarre. You go to an optician, you take your photo there. That's where you actually take your photo for the license. And then they give you an eye exam. And then you have to do another 2 steps with another 2 offices. But not like it's. I don't know. To me, it's a little bit weird. All the places that we have to go to get certain things done. Like, who would think that you would go to, your local eyeglass store to go get things done for your to switch your license over? I don't know.
Because when you're saying that as a foreigner, but to me it's totally normal because I'm used to it. Like when I'm totally used to it. But and also when you say things like go to your eyeglass store, maybe our listeners don't know, but in most eyeglass stores here, there is an eye doctor, who has a little office in the back.
Right. Well, it's like the office, though, for the Office of Transportation that then takes your photo and uploads it to their system. It's like totally not normal. And then with the kids with Aliyah, so my daughter has to be put onto our medical insurance. So they handed me a piece of paper and they said, okay, so now you're going to go to the post office and sign up for your medical insurance. I said, the post office? Let me make sure in Hebrew I understood the word correctly.
Yes, that's right. They probably, it's funny here. Bank Hadoar, maybe is what they said. It's weird.
Go to the door, go to the post office, and they showed me, and I said, okay, but like for me, like you're saying, like, normal. I'm like, post office for medical insurance?
But you're okay. You're in a different foreign country.
We're learning.
And you're right. Just do what they say. This is bureaucracy, and you'll never have to do it again.
I mean, that sounds really good.
Yeah.
The fun thing is that Israel keeps having a party. Like, it seems like every 2 weeks we have a party. So we had Passover and then a whole week of vacation. Then there was Yom HaAtzmaut and more parties. And now tonight is Lag BaOmer. And the whole week the kids have been preparing in school and with after-school activities. And there's going to be bonfires and barbecues and hangouts. And it's just really exciting.
Oh, yeah. This is the biggest night of the year. You are here at the best time. You're here at the best time. I have this conversation with my children often. What is mommy's favorite night of the year? Is it Purim, Passover, Lag BaOmer, or Yom HaAtzmaut? And then I have to decide because those are 4 big nights. And they're 4 big parties, and I love them all.
Right. So I don't know. To me, it's unbelievable. And if anybody wants to know, like, well, when's the best time to make Aliyah? I think, come early. Come January, February, March. And you're going to be right in line for Party Central. It's just going to go about every 2 weeks. You're just going to have a party. And
you said it right. Really That's great. What a description of another party.
Yeah. And we keep meeting new neighbors because everybody's off. Like, Kodesh, it's a free day. Nobody's working. Yeah. Okay, let's just meet more neighbors. And in our little WhatsApp group with our neighbors, they're like, hey, last time we got together at this park. How about this time if we go here? Who's bringing the salad? Who's bringing the desserts?
Right.
And everybody's pitching in and doing things. And
Yes.
it's amazing. And
It
it
is.
feels so welcoming and so communal. Like we
Yeah,
came,
it's
and it's not like
kahilati.
we don't know anybody. We just met everybody,
No.
and everybody's
Yeah.
our new best friend, and we've already seen them a dozen times.
Yeah, you're part of it now. You're part of it. You just do your part. That's all you need to do is just do your part. And that's all you need to do here. It's great. You're like instant the community is it works. That's what I mean. Like the community really works. And
Right.
all you have to do is be part of it by doing. You don't have it's not hard here. It's natural.
Well, and it's also that you get to enjoy your Judaism, right? So in America, there's so many other holidays that are always, intermingled. And here we just go from Jewish holiday to Jewish holiday, and it's just very exciting the way that Israelis celebrate here. It's different. Of course, there's a lot of Gomer parties in America, but it's something special here. You feel a part of it. You feel part of it.
Yeah, you said something very important that I hope everyone's listening. I don't understand that because I've been here a long time already. But what you just said is that there are no other holidays. It's not like you walk into a drugstore here and you see decorations that don't apply to you. Every holiday here is ours. And on the radio, you hear all the commercials to like a Pesach song. They take the 4 questions and make it for a chocolate bar. It's our country. It's our holidays. Zemayesh, and we do it up. And that's it. Right. There's no other. Like, I guess you grew up, and I did too, in America, where like you see a Christmas tree in the lobby of your school and maybe a small little menorah. Maybe not.
Right.
Nachon? Right.
Well, and if you're listening to the radio, they've got all the Christmas songs on, so you can't even get away from it. All the jingles that are there. I remember over the holidays at one point, one of my kids was singing a jingle. I said, "Where'd you hear that?" He said, "On the bus to school, the driver listens to the radio." And that's what I heard, and came home singing, Jingle Bells or whatever it was.
Right.
And I was like, oh,
Right.
gosh, we're just in the wrong spot. It's
Right.
not the right place.
Yeah. Here we are it. We are the majority. Everything is you're right. There's like our flavor. It's awesome. It is awesome.
Even for food in the stores with kosher and this and that. Like I walked into one store and I was like, oh, is this kosher? And they looked at me. They're like, the whole store is kosher. Like, don't stop asking me questions about kosher. Like this. What else do you need to know? I'm like, I know. I'm not out of the mindset in America.
Yeah, that is crazy. You don't need to ask. Yeah, you don't need to ask. In a restaurant, you can ask. Not all restaurants are kasher. And you say, is there a Tuda kasher? Right. And it's so nice because they're honest. They're honest. Right. They'll say, no. Right. No, but there's one down the street. Go down the street. They're honest.
They'll direct you. Right, they'll direct you exactly where to go. And also on the apps, when we go on the food apps, it'll say these are kosher, these are not. And you find out which are the right places that the places that we want to go.
So tell me how the Ulpan's going.
I just got off my Ulpan call. It's going well. I can't learn it fast enough, and everything I learn seems to apply the very next week. What I learned, then I'm standing in a store and I could use it, or somebody said something. I'm like, oh, that's that word. Wait, you got to remember what's the definition. Come on, you got this.
Okay.
And I just
you will get this. You will.
It's coming.
You will
slowly, right?
And your children will probably learn it faster than you.
So yes, and right now because we're at the end of the year, it's a little challenging because they don't have like the services that you normally get immediately when you come, because it's not the beginning of the year, it's the end. They're wrapping everything up, so they don't have the English services to pull them out of the class right now.
No, you don't need the English services. I'm not talking about English. I'm talking about they'll learn Hebrew. We didn't have anything like that.
I mean to get a little help translating a few words. Like the first grader is learning a lot more because everything is basic and he can pick it up very easily. But for a fifth grader to walk in a class and everything that they're saying,
so they need
what they're doing, but they need the
right.
Hebrew. A little English translation to help them.
They need partners. They just need one partner. One kid. Tell them. Just get one kid to sit with them. That's all.
So I don't know. I have to check because there weren't so many English speakers in their classes.
They don't need an English speaker.
Which
They
I'm
just need
happy.
someone who's willing. Okay, someone who's willing. Oh my God, they'll be fighting over being his partner or her partner. That's what you got to tell them. They don't know what to do. Okay, this is not an American style town. You know what happened when
they do have Olim that come in, so they are familiar with it.
Well, good. Well, their process isn't really working. I mean, your kids just can't be there alone. You can give them some guidance. You can do it in a nice way. They don't know everything here. Okay, they really don't. Israel's only 72 years old. They haven't gotten, they don't have it all. They don't have it all.
Point. Well, we did have a play date anyway, and the boy came over. He didn't speak English. My kids don't speak Hebrew, and they still had a great time together.
Yeah.
Played for hours.
Listen, when my boy was in 4th grade and they started learning English, and it was just ridiculous. It was like, ABC. I went to the school and I read him books outside on the picnic table. And another parent found out and asked if her child could join. And I was reading books from Eric Carle books, okay? Pancakes, and teaching them how to read. And the principal found out, and he got really mad. What did he do? He got them a teacher.
Good work.
So, you don't have to ask. Sometimes you could just do, and I don't care if I'm a pain. I want my kids to learn better. Yalla, we're out of time. Aleeza, thank you. Happy Lag BaOmer. Enjoy your first Lag BaOmer in Israel. It's going to be the best.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Where can you get the inside news on Israel? At Israel News Talk Radio, we're dedicated to sharing Israel's inside story with the world by providing our listeners with news on Israeli politics, current affairs, and Israeli Jewish culture. The Israel News Talk Radio homepage also provides you, the listener, with useful information at your fingertips, with scrolling news headlines, weather, currency exchange, Shabbat candlelighting times, and so much more. Our radio programming is always accessible and on demand. We operate absolutely free of charge for everyone, everywhere. If you love what we do, partner with us now by becoming an Israel News Talk Radio supporter. With your support, you'll be inscribed on our Israel News Talk Radio Wall of Fame. There's nothing like us in the world. Be part of something great. Israel News Talk Radio. Straight talk from Israel.
Howdy, this is Rita from League City, Texas, now living in Israel. And though my heart may have belonged to Texas, it now belongs to Israel and all the fantastic show hosts at Israel News Talk Radio.
Hi, this is Michael Solomon from Kiryat Arba, Israel. And why do I love listening to Israel News Talk Radio? Because I love listening to the interesting interviews they do and their news reporting that most other media sources don't cover.
Hey, this is Nicoleko from Malmö, Sweden. It gets pretty cold here in Sweden, so I love cuddling up with a warm cup of tea while I listen to Israel News Talk Radio.
Hey everybody, this is Frank Morris from Tennessee. Me and my dog Buster really love listening to Israel News Talk Radio.
You're listening to Israel News Talk Radio.
News, opinion, and more. You're listening to Israel News Talk Radio.